I just feel like there's some stuff you can't plan for. No matter how truly great your mind is, I just feel like there's certain stuff you just can't plan for. Like control. Control.
Over what?
Anything. Besides you, like besides the movement that you do, putting on clothes, the second you walk outside of your home, what do you control?
Absolutely nothing but your imagination. You can have ideas of how you're going to control, what you're going to control, but that's not something you can guarantee. We both have a mindset of we know we can do anything because we can't. It's just a fact at this point. But
right,
what we have with that mindset is how we're going to control and what we're going to control. It's not necessarily that we are going to control. It's that we have the mindset of no matter what we will. So how are we going to do it? What are we going to do it with? So we're already past that first impossibility. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's an ignorant way of thinking, but it's one of the best ways of thinking.
Well, no, because like when it comes down to it, it's like with the tools that you have, you want to make it to where you want to make it to. No matter what your vision is, your goal is, you want to make it there. And I'm not talking about basic like 3 month, 4 month, 8 month goals. Right. Not even 2, 3, 4 year goals. But I'm saying down the line, who do you want to die as?
Exactly.
Right. But you know where you are at and where your imagination takes you. And when you see that person, like I said, that, you know, however you want to die as, is how do I get there with what I have?
Exactly.
You know, and that's where the aspect of control comes from, because it's like, what do I control? How can I make it there? You know what I'm saying?
Right,
and everything around you is obviously going to say that you can't.
Right.
You know, so it's like, how do I make it there? How do I use what I have to even just get to the next level, the next thing?
Right.
You know, if that makes sense. So it's like, because like you can't just, it's not going to be like today you're this and then tomorrow you're that person that you die as. You know what I'm saying? So when I say next level, I mean like a year from now. When I say control, it's like, am I going to be still here a year from now, or am I going to be closer to that goal a year from now? Would the progress even be noticeable? You know, so it's like that aspect of control. What can I control?
Exactly. That's something you can't physically control, but what we can do is mentally control it. And I think that's what we do best. I think we don't put a barrier on it. I don't think we go in a year we won't be. I think we go in a year we will be, because we have to. And then instead of because I mean that's what everybody does, but what everybody doesn't do is work for it. And I think what we actually do is put work in. And that's why when we say things are gonna happen, the law of attraction is in our favor, because we work for it. I think that's our control. That. You know, that is
definitely our control. That's how we control it.
Our mind.
But it's also that aspect of like, when it comes to controlling the mind, and it's like I said, it's that progress. That's what stumbles everybody up, or the majority of people, 99% of people. It's the progress aspect. You want to see the progress that you made and be validated for the progress that you made. Like you said, you could be going at it for a month, 2, 3, 4 months, going your hardest, and progress isn't noticeable. Yes, you've made progress. Your ability to do whatever it is that you were doing has gotten better, but you haven't made noticeable progress to the naked eye. You know,
and to your own eye, actually. Even though you should be able to see everything you've done, in reality, you end up seeing everything you wish you could have. You know what I'm saying? And that's more than just control. It's also the ability to keep going. It's the ability to take a loss. Because
willpower.
It's willpower. Because if you can push yourself through to your goal with the things that you don't have, even though the person you see in the future has all these tools, you don't. So, like you said, the willpower to keep pushing with the tools you only have.
It's also belief.
Yeah, 100%.
It's also belief.
But to have that belief, you do need that willpower. Because you talked about, 99% of the people, it's a mentality thing.
So instead of saying willpower, I would say persistence.
Yeah,
I just want to make it, because I don't know.
It kind of fuses.
If they don't know if somebody is listening who doesn't know what willpower is, right, I'll say persistence. That's the same.
And not only physically though, but mentally. I think that's the biggest part.
But that's the hardest part.
It is 100%.
I don't know if you agree with this, but I'd say like life is 90% mental, 10%.
I would say like 95. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, there are things that you honestly really just can't control with your mind. You know what I'm saying? Like me,
right.
I'm a diabetic. It's not fun, bro. Like this morning was not a fun morning for me. It's not something I can just say I don't have. You know, it's I have to work with needles. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to get the medicine I need to survive. That's not something I can just go, I'll be cool without. You know, I can't even go an hour without it. But what I can do is go in an hour, whether I have the money for it, the funds for it, to get that medicine and say I will go get it. And even though that's not something I can promise, it's something I can work for, both literally and, figuratively in the mental aspect.
Okay.
So when you say everything or 90% of all things are mental, I have no choice but to agree with that, because I know physical capabilities, and because I know it, and because I have to do certain things to even get the mindset of it will be okay. Without that mental aspect of it, there would be nothing. Damn. People just like, bro, there's like 4 fucking like houses here. Like, how many people are just coming and going to that bitch, bro? I feel like China.
I would say though, like this, I would say, I don't know, I feel like people with illness are stronger than people without it, because they know, they have that knowledge of it's all the mind. You know what I'm saying? My day will be great if I say it will be great. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's it's difficult, but that's true. Like,
and I'm not gonna say in all cases, because then there's some people who get sick and then they just feel like life is over. Yeah. So,
but there's also even having that mentality. There's ways to make it through, because it's not like I always had the mind that I did. Like, it took you want to talk about 90%, it took 98% of my life to even get where I'm at right now. You know what I'm saying? To even actually comprehend that I could be happy with what I have. You know what I'm saying? I was never in a state where I was like, things will be okay. It was just, I'm gonna be here because I'm not gonna take my own life. You know what I'm saying? That's literally where I was at for most of my life. But now I'm at a point where it's contentment. It might not be happiness, but contentment is so important, because if you can just be okay with what you have, even if you want something greater, if you can just be okay with what you have, you can also tell yourself that, okay, I want something greater, I'll just work for it. Instead of going and saying like, I don't have this, so it's over. Like you were saying, it's really just a mental thing. And the problem, because there is a problem, is our generation, and our media, and our social media. You know what I'm saying? Which are the same thing, but what we're
you saying for the overall health of the mind?
Not, I mean, honestly, physical health too, but mental health. How so? Our bodies, Joe Rogan said this, are not made to just sit in bed all day on a phone in front of.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that stimulates a lot more. Yeah, it's an actual problem.
It is. It's 100%. I mean, we talk about mental being the biggest problem, but I mean, if you even think about it deeper, physically, the reason why we get into that mental state is because physically we're staring at our phone. We're physically laying in bed.
It's not our nature.
It's not.
We're not. I mean, this is ego. This is ego as well. It's like, we are animals.
Yeah. I don't understand this whole like thing that we're not. Like, I don't get. My brain doesn't comprehend why people can't see that we're not animal. Like, my brain doesn't understand why. I mean, I do. I literally do. But what I'm trying to say is, it's so ridiculous to say that we're not animals. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do know why people assume we're better. But instead of just saying we're better, how about you say you're better in a specific aspect? Like, sure, we might be able to go stomp on an ant, but that doesn't mean we work together in harmony as well as they do. And honestly, if you ask me what's more important, probably harmony. You know what I'm saying? Because, well, I'm not going to say can't, because we obviously can't work in harmony. But I'm saying, like, on a day-to-day basis.
It's also what they do as well.
It's their natural
and
instinct.
Yeah. But they're also, like, it is harmony, and that's the best word you can use for it, because it doesn't matter which one they are. If they're weak, they're tossed out. If they're incapable of doing the job, they're tossed out. You know, they only live to serve one purpose type thing, and they're okay with it, I guess. But you know, that's going into their brain, which something like that.
It's like we.
But for us, I guess I'll say it's like our mind is a lot more complex. We think of things. You know, if somebody's trying to get us to do something, it's like, why? That's the question we ask. Instead of just going along with it, it's why. What? How?
Exactly.
You know?
And we actually, by doing all these things, by having the complex brain that we have natural instinct, but it's just taken away from us. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of people, because growing up, when you hear older folks or even just a peer or something talk about an animal, they always say something about natural instinct. They have their instinct, they have this, but you never hear somebody go, we have our natural instinct. The closest you hear to that is a teacher saying, just go with what you thought on the first answer. That's the closest thing we have. But what that really is our natural instinct. Like, we have that ability, but we just have a greater ability to ask why.
Right? You mean like intuition? Like our intuition?
Yeah.
I guess what I say
but I'm talking about it as an actual sense. Like, people always want to talk about a sixth sense. We all have it. It's natural instinct. We're just not taught that.
But the reason why it's not taught is because we don't teach stuff that we don't understand, that we can't make sense of. And the sixth sense is incomprehensible.